All righty. Hello, everyone. Got Peyton Langford, myself, and maybe where are the computer models? Are they going to show up anytime soon? What do you think?
Yeah, nope.
They're not showing up
They're
at
still on
all.
4th of July holiday.
They're horrible. Oh, man. All right. So, what's going on, everyone? Richard, where are the puffy clouds at? That was a good question on the 4th of July. Where were the puffy clouds at? There wasn't a single cloud in the sky. Oh, man. So, here Josh gets it because he's a meteorologist or soon to be. To rain or not to rain? That is the question. And that is to rain or not to rain? That is the question. And Josh sums it up here perfectly. Fun pattern, models, great, totally not frustrating mix. Laugh out loud. Yeah. It's the models are terrible. They're being horrendous. And I'm going to give you some examples of this. So here's the deal with all this model stuff, blah, blah, blah. I still think we get some rain tomorrow. What do you think?
Yeah, especially in the River Valley. River Valley, I'm very confident we'll get rain.
Yeah.
Northwest Arkansas, been a
Not
little wishy-washy.
Not so confident.
Not so confident.
We need a little bit of rain. I put down some pre-emergent tonight. Someone was walking by my house and said, I'm trying to kill some weeds. I hope it rains. That's what I said. And they go, well, you would know. I'm like, well, yeah, you would think.
Yeah, you would think.
You would think. And the reason why, here's the deal. It's chain reaction forecasting. This is what we're dealing with the last 3 or 4 weeks. If one thing doesn't happen down upstream, then it doesn't happen downstream. For instance, today, cloud cover. We had a lot of clouds. Models, what were they going? Like upper 80s, lower 90s. We did hit that, but that wasn't during the afternoon. So as the energy came through, there wasn't any storms that popped up today. Get some Eraser Max at the co-op. Okay, someone said Larry is talking about the best pre-emergent. I put down some Preen, Preen, Preen. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
All right, so it's garden pre-emergent. So we'll see what happens. Gotta love how fantastic the models have been. Sarcasm intended. Who went and washed their cars today? That's a good question. I say live life and enjoy the experience of a nice summer rain. That's great. I enjoyed it this morning. I mean, it was nice to have that. You will have dirt. That's good because I want to kill everything in our not everywhere, not in our garden bed, but in our rock pile. So, anyways, let's take a look at what's happening now. Enough of us complaining about the models. Let's look at first of all how heating, cooling, mega Doppler. It's got quite a few storms off to the west. Peyton's putting that into motion. This is the complex that is expected to come together. Now, originally, the models had about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, thunderstorms popping up. Is that happening now? Nah, nope. It's not. It's not even out of Colorado yet. That's a problem.
Yeah, and it's already going south. We can see it's supposed to be moving east by this point.
Yeah, that's a big problem. Before there were supposed to be storms all over the place in south central Kansas. The front's already come through. What front, as I like to say? Yeah, that front was pitiful. But here's a look at the satellite radar, and yes, the storms are there. They are happening there. But if you look at this, you can already tell, according to what I'm seeing, is that northwest Arkansas gets a little bit of light rain tomorrow, and this is going to be late morning. And then I think like the River Valley gets the brunt of the storms, and then south of I-40, I think this is the way that storm system tracks right there. I know, Dan, dude, I'm tired. It's July. Can we just not right now? I know exactly. Can we not just right now? But this is a pattern that's very frustrating and very active for this time of the year. Here's the reason why. Let's break down why it's so active. So first of all, there is a big ridge of high pressure that's right here. Well, because it's right there, you guessed it. The jet stream is doing this. And with the jet stream doing this, you get in the higher elevations and in the upper plateau, thunderstorms developing east of the Rockies, which is exactly what's happening today. Over time, those storms will evolve into what's called an MCS, and then it's no rhyme or reason exactly where they go.
Yeah.
And by the way, the severe weather risk. Now, Peyton, you were working yesterday. You were working the day before. We were as well. What's going on here? The models had storms and severe weather for what, 3 or 4 days in a row for overnight tonight.
Yeah.
What happened?
So often the models can't resolve the small scale of small fine details, especially 2 to 3 days in advance. So it isn't really handling the low cloud cover that we've seen. So it's reading temperatures a lot higher. And if we get higher temperatures, more heating, more susceptible to lift. So we're just not getting that. All that cloud cover from the morning storms has kept us cool. And like you said, chain reaction, one thing affects another. So now we see a couple days out, there's no severe weather now.
So Brian says, why are you doing a special deal to let us know nothing is happening? So there is going to be something happening. There will be rain and storms. It's just not coming in at the exact time of what we had previously said. So, Brian, let's get to why we're doing this. Because late morning tomorrow, especially for folks in the River Valley, I think you will see storms. I think it's a given. Well, I'm not going to say given. I think it's possible.
Right.
No, nothing's given right now. But here's a look at the front that came through. And there's a look at the complex of storms, which, by the way, is happening in southeast Colorado. And now, instead of it coming through 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, it starts knocking on our doorstep around 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. There's a look at the storms that move into the River Valley. So does it happen here in Northwest Arkansas? Maybe not so much, but look at that. There's a lot of River Valley activity. And so it's not zero things happening, Brian. There will be, I think, some thunderstorms. And by the way, the day 2 convective outlook still covers the River Valley after 7 a.m. So I'm thinking around maybe 10, 11 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the very latest.
A good positive to doing this is that we're able to tell you to maybe bring in that outdoor furniture that you might have out for the sunny days, that outdoor patio furniture.
I know my wife didn't bring the cushions in, and then they're all soaked, and they don't dry out very easily. So, bring in the cushions. That's a good point.
Yeah, especially just coming around 9, 10. You're already at work, and then you just see outside the window at the office, storms coming through. You're like, man, should have brought in the outdoor furniture.
Or you're saying, man, it's a good thing I saw that update last night before I went to bed, because now I know before I leave work, I got to do that.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Yeah. So there it is moving out. And then guess what? Another chain reaction happens. Here comes the next round of storms. Will that happen? There's a lot that has to happen before that takes place. But we do know this. There's going to be all these little waves of energy. And I just want to reiterate how difficult this forecast is by showing you this. But before we do, I want to show you the timing. So this is what we've got for everybody. Brian, you can expect some rain. Northwest Arkansas, yes, a little bit of rain happening late morning into the early afternoon. It's a quick mover, though. Moves in, moves out, kind of like what we saw today. But that's kind of what we're looking at. So let's look at some different models. And you want to see how off they've been? Let's do that. Huh? What do you think?
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. First of all, look at this. You got graph, ECMWF, which is the European, the GFS, and the NAM. Now, this is obviously really far out, so you can't see. But we zoom in. The graph has 2.5 inches. Now, I don't know if that's the updated one. I don't think it is.
No.
It's still updating. But look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, there's some heavy rain. Then you got the European that has 2 inches. Well, yeah, but this is the 12Z European, because the 18Z, which is 6 hours later, took everything out.
Is it a pump fake?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it is. I don't think that we missed all the rain completely. I mean, look at that complex now. It does have a little bit more of an easterly motion. I'll show you what I mean. Here's the GFS. If you're calling for rain, if we were in a forecasting contest trying to figure out rain totals 2 or 3 days out, it's hard enough to figure out if it's going to rain, much less the totals.
I think the ratio, kind of so to speak, of the GFS is probably realistically what we're gonna see.
Are you ratioing it? Is that what you're saying?
GFS
ratio.
is getting ratio.
Yeah, I think so. You're saying the ratio. Say that again.
Yeah, so I think whatever the River Valley sees, Northwest Arkansas is probably going to see 2/3 of that.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. So there's a look at the NAM right there, 1.36. And so the models are just all over the place. Well, why are they having such a difficult time with this forecast? It's all about these little pieces of energy. And so, first of all, the jet stream has these little disturbances. If there's no jet stream, then you don't have any upper level support. So you're not going to have all these little spins. Each one of these spins, okay, is the model that's showing essentially where some lift is going to occur. Now, the thing is that when these systems come in, the models are predicting how warm it's going to be, how moist it's going to be in terms of the instability, the dew points, how much how unstable it is, instability. All those things have to be predicted in advance, and then you have to predict where these little systems come from.
Right.
So all these little things are spins. Now you see that spin and you're thinking, oh, it's raining at 10 o'clock Wednesday night in central Arkansas. No, it's out ahead of it. So where you have darker colors right here, or should I say kind of darker and then brighter colors, you can kind of see a little bit of a bullseye of white. That's a stronger spin. These are weaker spins. You get into the oranges and red colors, that's a stronger spin. Stronger spin means stronger lift. So watch what happens over time. There's the energy that comes in for tomorrow. Notice how, according to the European, and this is just the 12Z, it's not the 18Z, you'll notice that it's mainly in southeast Oklahoma. So that's where the lift is ahead of that. And then we got more energy that comes in. There's the system coming through for Thursday late morning. That's why it had a lot of rain, but now it's south. Remember, it's out ahead of it. This is called vorticity. It's the amount of spin in the atmosphere. And there's a thing called positive vorticity advection, PVA, and it's out ahead of this spin that you see the strongest lift. So what's this rain coming in on Saturday? Well, you guessed it, it's more energy coming in from the northwest. It's this northwest freaking flow. It's annoying. Sorry I said freaking, but it's like I did. Don't want to say the other word. There is a look at that energy coming in Friday morning, and then watch what happens Friday night. More energy comes swinging in. And then Saturday, more energy comes swinging in. This is not supposed to be July.
Right.
July doesn't have this. And then you'll see more energy coming in. So all these little spins, first of all, develop a complex of storms to the northwest. The complex of storms to the northwest is supposed to hold together and come through. But as we know, the Fayetteville fizzle happens. Yeah, June is the new May, and there you go. And July also the new May. There was some stuff in June, that's for sure.
But to answer David's question, is there CAPE?
Oh, yes.
Tonight, there's not a sufficient amount of CAPE. There's not enough potential energy, convective available potential energy for storms to get vertically developed as well as wind shear. So that's why we're having this fall apart.
Yeah, a lull, a big time lull. And look, next week, more energy swinging in. And then finally, more energy swinging in. What an annoying pattern, man. My goodness. And I understand if you guys are annoyed, because we're trying to predict. We are too. We're trying to predict the rain. I know you want to know when, where. Unfortunately, we just can't. But we look off to the west. We can see these storms now starting to take shape. There's more storm activity. It does have a little more of an easterly motion. Maybe it does hold together. Maybe it pump faked all along. Will this storm have another derecho again? No. And the reason for that is because we're not unstable. We don't have all that instability. Let's look at different model runs, okay? And we're going to show you how things can dramatically change. So first of all, we're going to zip through this, and we're going to start off tonight. Okay, so yeah, right. My foot. 3 o'clock in the morning, it's already showing storms.
There's no way.
Okay, so remember that, because we're going to look at what's happening now. Then it shows 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning storms now. So now guess what? Because it had storms in the morning, it's saying, there's no more instability.
Right.
So now we're going to remove the storm chances for later on in the morning according to this model, and that's exactly what it does. There's nothing there. Nothing.
And because it says there's no storm chances tomorrow morning and afternoon, it's going to have the temperatures a lot warmer, which is probably going to show showers tomorrow night.
And guess what?
Showers tomorrow night.
Showers tomorrow night. I don't think that happens. I'm
Right.
looking at what's happening here.
Mhm.
I'm looking at persistence forecasting, what happened last night, complex of storms dying out as it came in. Yes, there was a few rumbles of thunder. I like the rain, but it kind of weakened. So there's one model. Well, let's just see what another model has. I don't even want to go through that whole thing. Okay, so now 3 o'clock in the morning, no storms. Okay. 5 o'clock in the morning, no storms. So guess what? We're still humid. We're still unstable. We still have a lot of energy to tap into.
Now we have sunrise, rapid daytime heating.
Yep. And you can see those temperatures climbing into the mid 80s. Now we got some rain and storms, and depending on the track of that system, making it into the river valley. I do think the river valley, I would be floored if nobody saw rain tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
I really would. I would be absolutely floored. Then that comes through, and there's an example of 7 o'clock tomorrow night, just fine, no problems. But yet the other model is showing a ton of storms popping up. Well, let's look at some other models. Let's look at, I don't even look at it anymore because it's such a dead to me model. But the 3 kilometer NAM, have you looked at it? It's kind of
for a while.
kind of laughable, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see 3 kilometer NAM. Oh, instead you're going to be bringing storms in at 5 o'clock. Do you see why we can't get the timing right? It's like you have to use your meteorological knowledge, which, by the way, we do. We don't just use this guidance and go straight off of it.
Yeah.
We look at many other things, but sometimes the weather doesn't behave the way it's supposed to.
Yeah. You can pull up the SPC mesoanalysis and we can explain what we mean.
Yeah,
Using what we know.
it's a great idea. We will. Well, there's Saturday morning. So now, here's the deal. Saturday morning showing storms and severe weather. But you know what? Monday was showing storms for tonight into tomorrow morning for several days, just like this is. So who knows if this is going to happen? Yeah, I don't know. I got my doubts, to say the least. I mean, let's face it, man. 4th of July was awesome. I mean, there were so many people that were wondering what's going on, boating, all that stuff. And, you could get caught out on the lake with storms. There wasn't even a cloud in the sky. It was like, it wasn't even close. It was so far off. It was laughable. So anyways, let's take a look here at the SPC mesoanalysis. I'm going to bring that up for you. And Peyton, you can walk them through this.
Yeah. Got to put on your thinking cap for a minute.
Yeah.
I know it's late. I know you're off work. Probably don't want to think about too much
a
learning.
A lot of people like to be educated.
Yeah.
Central Arkansas is getting a lot of rain. Northwest Arkansas isn't getting nothing. I do agree, but I don't even know if Central Arkansas gets all that. It could miss it to the south, but it's probably looking a little more likely there.
Especially Russellville, as warm as
Okay, Richard's got to get off of bed. I just have one more question. What caused all these storms to develop? I mean, would there be a way for it to no rain ever, just hot, dry days? Yes, it would be if the jet stream would remain north of our area, which, by the way, is what we call the ridge, sometimes known as the death ridge, because it's a death to all storms and severe weather. So for the meantime here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this up, and we're going to bring up the graphics. We'll go back to that stream. We'll go back to that SPC mesoanalysis. But Richard, this is what needs to happen right here. See all this jet stream energy? See how it's nosing into our area? That needs to be like the desert Southwest for no rain. Now, we need rain. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not, angry about the rain.
Right.
We want the rain. I'm not complaining about it, but I am frustrated at the wishy-washiness of the models. But This is what needed to happen. That ridge of high pressure, instead of being to the southwest of us, where we get all these little pieces of energy coming in that northwest flow, that ridge of high pressure needs to settle in over top of us. And here's the deal. The last several days, the models have been showing that, and now it just continues to retrograde. That's going to be multiple chances for rain and storms. So until this right here moves over here, we'll see rain and storm chances.
Yeah, we saw that. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when we had that heat wave.
Yeah.
That was pretty close to a death ridge, I'd say.
It was only like 3 days, though.
I know.
It did not
It was
last
very
very
weak.
long. But yeah, that's what the ridge looked like. It looked like this. Yeah, you can't draw it on there. Always wondered that.
Late July, early August is when we'll probably see.
What's
that.
more annoying forecasting, in the summer or in the winter? Typically summer is not annoying at all,
No.
but this summer is.
Yeah.
The models are crazy. They're so bad. They're so frustrating. It's so bad. I'm looking at this right now and I'm seeing a lot of energy. All right, so back to the mesoanalysis. That's what we want to get to. So let's get to it. We'll show you what we're talking about. Okay, so here's a look at the SPC mesoanalysis. Peyton, take it away, man.
Yeah. So let me change sectors just a little further north, just so we can see the entire complex that's going on.
Good idea.
So we have this complex blowing up in eastern Colorado. And the first thing I'm looking at is what is going on at the surface. So this is just, I know it's a lot of crazy lines, but this is temperature, dew point, and the black lines are pressure. So we're looking at, for the movement of this thing, we're looking at the temperature gradient, which is how quickly does the temperature change? How quickly does it rise or fall? And that's typically where the lines are closer together. So this is a good idea down here where there's a strong temperature gradient. And then the blue lines are the dew point gradient, which is another way to help track the direction. So by looking at where the temperature gradient and the dew point gradient are stronger, that gives us an idea of how this thing is going to move purely based off of dynamics. Now, the next thing to look at is wind. So we can look at lower level winds, which, and the green is also dew point. So this is moisture at roughly a mile up in the atmosphere. So now the wind direction is out of the south down here, but out of the north up here. So it's squeezing a lot of moisture in here. So the storm is going to go towards where that fuel is, where that moisture is, where that warm, moist air is, because that's what fuels thunderstorms.
Look at the lack of it over us.
Yes, it is a very weak gradient over us. And we can see in the river valley, in I can't tell parts of Scott and LaFleur County.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. That's where the moisture gradient is the strongest. So the predicted track, based off what we know, is that it's going to move in this southeasterly fashion. Most of it missing northwest Arkansas. Now, if we look up a little higher at the 500 millibars, which is roughly, what's that, like
12,000?
Yeah, 12,000.
Yeah, approximately.
Yeah, about 12,000 feet. We can see that the flow is southeasterly. Now, this is going to drive the middle part of the storms, the feedback loop of where it's able to strengthen. So now this is moving southeasterly, but you can see that once it gets towards Tulsa, or just on the other side of Oklahoma City, it goes south. So this is the steering mechanism at the mid-levels.
And the reason for that bend is because, remember, that ridge of high pressure, which clockwise flow around the high, is to the southwest. That's why that complex is moving east now, but it's going to bend and turn south.
Yeah.
That's why that's happening.
Exactly. And then going up to the jet stream, we always talk about the jet stream energy. The purple just says where there's diverging air at the jet stream level. And if there's diverging air at the jet stream, then there's converging air at the surface. It's one big cycle. So as you can see, there's not much convergence near us.
Super geeking out, and I love it.
Yes.
Man. Yes.
There's not much convergence at the surface. as if you look out your window, you'll notice because there's no storms. And once this comes over here, so we can see the jet stream moving easterly, but
It weakens.
it weakens. It's going to weaken. So there's not going to be as much convergence at the surface. So there's not as much divergence aloft. So that's why we're saying the storms are going to fall apart once it gets to like Oklahoma City, like Stillwater. And somebody earlier was asking about CAPE, which is convective available potential energy. So this is like if moisture is your gas in your car, then convective available potential energy is like your motor oil. So there isn't a lot. We can see that over Northwest Arkansas, there's about 500. The specific scientific unit is joules per kilogram. So that just is an energy unit. And so there's not much energy. You typically want about 1,000 joules per kilogram of this energy in order to have sufficient thunderstorms.
Especially in the summer.
Especially
now
in
you
the
can
summer.
get like 500 in the winter,
right,
and
right.
you have what's called high shear, low cape environments.
Mhm.
But in the summertime, 500 measly. That's very limited. And we even have less than 500 in some locations.
Mhm.
Another thing too, you can see those shades, the blue shades on there. That's capped. That's capped atmosphere. So the storms are going to be a lot more intense where it's white in the southwest Kansas because they're uncapped. But as they work their way east, the more capped they are, it's like putting a stranglehold on the storm. It's like asphyxiation, like you're strangling the updraft, and over time you're going to choke it off. Literally, that's what we mean by choke it off, and so the air doesn't rise anymore. And there's a lot of what we call convective inhibition. What CAPE is, convective inhibition is the exact opposite. So
that's how we have put together our forecast, which has varied greatly from the models. The storm complex is going to dive southeast, just south of the river valley, clipping parts of it with its stronger parts. Maybe some of it will get ripped apart and we'll get some rain in Northwest Arkansas. But for the most part, yeah, that's how we figured out that it's going to not be anything severe because it doesn't have the energy. Who is calling?
I have no idea who that is. There's no
Medicare.
let's see. Not at this time.
I
What is Dan? Unbelievable. It didn't even have a number.
Somebody star 67 does.
Probably. Thank you guys.
So yeah, thank you for my
Yeah.
nerd talk. Hopefully I didn't bore you or put you to sleep with a bedtime story. But yeah.
Another thing too is, when we're starting to look at heavy rain, this is something that's interesting. So we're even a lot less with the precipitable water.
Right.
So what that means is the amount of atmosphere in the column that can be squeezed out, essentially, like
It's like the juice in an orange.
Mm-hmm. Or yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like the juice in the orange. We squeeze out a lot of that to make fresh orange juice. But I also like to think of it. I like that one. Here, I'm gonna remove that for now. What was my version was like a sponge. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you have a sponge, and if you just partially dip it in the water, pull it out real quick, it's got some moisture. You wring it out, it's not a lot. However, if you put that sponge, dunk it in the water, keep it in there for a while, pull it out, it's dripping, it's got water on it, and then you squeeze it out. There's water everywhere. That's what the atmosphere is like in the river valley. So it's going a lot more for sure right now. What do you think of that analogy? You like that? Not bad. Not bad. I like the orange too.
Yeah.
And then you look at this. There's the transport. There's transport for moisture farther south with those Q vectors. And then you have almost drier air that's filtering in right over Northwest Arkansas. So therefore, the storms are probably going to weaken.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it doesn't rain at all. It just means it
you still kind of had that same gradient.
Yeah.
With the dew points. That is just kind of
You
that
do.
southeasterly track. And
that's what's going to happen. Then we look at supercell composite, and it's all over the place there. But there's absolutely nothing in Oklahoma. We go over time, and it doesn't even develop. So the Storm Prediction Center is saying, you know what? We better change this risk. That's exactly what they did. And if we look at the risks here, just to let you know, convective outlooks, take the counties off of there. We've been removed from the marginal for the most part. It does clip eastern Oklahoma. The day 2 convective outlook, we've got a marginal as of now. This is because of the storms in the morning to late morning.
Yeah.
Still possible, but not necessarily great. Looks like it's going to be pretty likely in eastern Colorado. Well, guess what? That's our next system that comes in that develops tomorrow evening and then makes its way east-southeast, and then we're in between risks again. There's the complex of storms in the morning hours that makes its way east, and then that is Saturday morning's complex, once again weakening as it moves in. Now, another thing is, let's look at the Weather Prediction Center real quick. So we're going to look at the excessive rainfall forecast. And this just kind of shows you where the potential for flooding will be. Now, notice how it's changed. And then it's changed. So we have that marginal. Now, there's the day 3 for Saturday. Saturday, I think we could get some rain. But then again, maybe we don't.
Yeah, we said that about today.
There's day 4, and then there's day 5. So we have 5 days of the potential for heavy rain, enough heavy rain where it causes some flash flooding. And you look at the rain forecast, and it does have us in 3 to 4 inches over the next 7 days. The question is when. Most likely time is going to be day 3 because you look at day 1, very limited. Day 2, not much. Day 3, that's good, bullseye. Day 4, some. Day 5 kind of shifts to the southeast, and then you can see that ridge starting to build in. So let's let me get back to some comments. So it's a quit night.
Quiet, probably.
I think it's a quit night too. We quit. A squeezable sponge.
All sponges should be squeezable.
You're missing the Muskogee Lowell. Model that says potential for scattered showers. I think you're right. I think scattered showers, perhaps some rumbles of thunder. And it's definitely going nuts off to the west. You know, we could look at this again one more time. Mega Doppler, there it is. A lot of storms. You can see them cranking up. So now let's see how the model. This is all. I love doing this. Let's see this real quick. Ready? Here's the graph. This is the hourly graph. So let's see. Oh, you know what? It doesn't have those storms now, finally. And look at that. Takes them straight south. Now, actually, I kind of tend to believe this.
Yeah.
What do you think? You're
I
laughing.
don't know what to believe. I just believe in myself, honestly, at this point. It's the only thing I believe in. Just looking at with what we know, just using our meteorology.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And look, this is actually matching pretty much what we said. There's the complex. Look at it dropping southeast. And then, So here's the question. The 4-kilometer graph, or we can look at the hourly HRRR. Here's the HRRR. And instead, what we're going to do on this is I'm going to zip out. Let's see how it's doing off to the west. Not too shabby. Not terrible. It's lacking in the storm activity in southwest Kansas.
Probably already outflow dominant.
Yeah, there's a good little cell there. So it's already underdone because it shows this is at 2 a.m. But what's at 2 a.m. is already happening at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
So it is a little behind. There's the low making its way to the southeast. Move to the southeast. There's that complex moving through and little bit of rain, but not much. So what does that mean? It rains tomorrow late morning.
Yeah.
Nothing super major. There could be a few severe storms in the river valley, but you can go to bed tonight and not have to worry about a thing.
Yeah, no hail, Michelle, especially in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
Don't think any in the river valley. Maybe just some.
Now this is tonight.
Yes,
this is overnight
just tonight.
into the morning.
Maybe some mild, strong winds. I don't know, depending on what you call strong. Maybe 30,
40, 50,
35, 40, 5-mile-per-hour winds. Bringing that outdoor furniture. If it's trash day tomorrow, maybe figure out a way to secure that. Might have to pull out the "Where's my trash can" forecast. But yeah,
You mean like show the models? That
no,
where's
just
the
like
trash can? The trash can.
yeah, where's my trash can? I know it's trash day for me tomorrow, so
All the NCEP models.
yeah.
We should. We should get the. We should get the.
Oh, the
Get the
8
8-ball out. Yeah. I'm adjusting the 7-day, by the way. I meant to do that. Everything has changed so much.
All right, Richard. Have a good night. Hopefully,
The 8-ball. All right.
8-ball
This will
will be
sum it up. Is it going to rain at Drake Field tomorrow at all? Are we going to see any rain? Hey, Chris Ebert. Hey, good to see you. Man, miss you, dude. Hope you're doing well. Is it going to rain in Fayetteville at Drake Field anytime tomorrow? And will it be measurable rain? That's right. Look at that. It's on the edge. So I got to do it again. It's right on the edge. Will it rain in Fayetteville's Drake Field tomorrow at any time? Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Whew. See? Scrap all the models. Just trash them all. Just have the 8-ball. All right? Oh, the Texas Tech Wurf. You need to see that. I've actually got it up here. Watch this. This is the Texas Tech. This is not, but I'll bring it up because I have it loaded. This is what the Texas Tech Wurf said would happen this afternoon. Storms everywhere. That didn't happen.
No.
Then, of course, nothing happens tonight. And then it shows storms already at like 7, 8 a.m. We'll see. And it's got that line coming through. And it's got the next line coming through. Look at all these MCSs. Now that one falls apart. Who knows? Wave after wave. Just wave after wave hitting us in the face. All right. So back to the 8-ball. I know that's awful, Josh.
Yeah, pretty bad.
All right. Will there be severe weather in the River Valley tomorrow? That's a good question. Will there be a severe thunderstorm warning in the River Valley tomorrow?
I doubt.
It is certain.
Ooh. All right, challenging the 8-ball here.
That's a pretty good one.
Put all my
I bet you there
credibility
is.
on the line.
I bet you there is a severe thunderstorm warning in the River Valley. Scott County. It'll be Scott
It's
County.
just the wind. I feel like everything is there except the wind profile.
Yeah. It's a wait and see game. It is. It's a wait and see because it's all chain reaction. We're setting up the dominoes. We knock them down. And oops, we have a domino out of place. The chain reaction stops. Yeah, you got a quick shower in Avoca. We did too. Drake Field got 8 107H. I think I got a little more than that.
Yeah.
We'll see. But anything you guys want to know? That plateau that Springfield sits on seems like it makes storm splits and get back together east of Springfield. Boy, is that the truth. Mm-hmm. Storms do that all the time. You got that right. We need rain in Rogers. We do. We need rain, period. Although, I will say this. I got stuck in the mud on Sunday. And it was rather soggy. So, but here's the deal. This is from an irrigation. I didn't tell you this. There's an irrigation ditch. The drainage was there. So all the watering that's done flows down that irrigation ditch. So all that dirt was super wet. No tornadoes, no panic attacks. No.
Yeah, we're not doing this live stream because there's tornadoes or anything.
Nice flex, though.
Just
flexing.
Coming up here coming on live to clarify that tonight's nothing to worry about.
I don't think so. I don't think it rains Saturday night, but I do think it rains Saturday morning.
Yeah.
What do you think? Am I off?
Unless I'm off. I don't know.
I just don't think Saturday night. All these systems coming through are morning.
Yeah.
Now, granted, this is the European, which typically is pretty good, but man, something is going on. I just don't know what it is. The models are just awful. Look at this right here. So there's, no. Here's Friday morning. There's that complex. It shows, this just doesn't have the resolution, but Here's Saturday. See, that looks like it's raining, but it really isn't. It's out of here by then.
We'll have a really good idea
Saturday night.
Saturday morning, just based on what goes on, because then we can at least use our meteorology that we were taught, not have to rely on models. But right now, it's the only thing we've got.
Oh, there's definitely going to be some rain in Springfield. I think the heaviest rain, though, is going to be a little southwest of Springfield.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, one last question. Will there be a tornado tomorrow in our viewing area? Let's really test the 8 ball. Ready? And it says, reply hazy, try again.
Oh, okay.
All
I
right.
had to think about that.
Yeah.
I had to think if it likes you, Josh, or not.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I'm interested. So, well, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. As Albertson does, nice little flex. Let's go. No tornado now. But you know what? There will be someday. And when there is, we'll be on top of it.
Mhm.
You got it. So, I think that's it. I'm done.
As Nixon once
We're-
said, peace.
Peace. He said, quit. All right. I'll see ya. Bye.